today?
Well, good morning. As you mentioned, it's a truncated week. So yesterday we were off, and even Friday, markets are closed. In fact, it's not just us. Even rest of Asia, there are truncated weeks, especially as far as China as well as Hong Kong is concerned. As you mentioned, overnight cues. The U.S. markets, after 4 straight sessions of gains, saw a bit of a cooling off of profit booking at higher levels. So all of the U.S. indices ended marginally lower, and mixed cues coming in from Europe as well. As you mentioned, marginally lower is the kind of handover you could see as far as the European markets were concerned. Now, coming to crude oil prices, this is going to be key to track going forward, given the fact that day for yesterday, you saw a very sharp rally as far as crude oil prices are concerned. Yesterday, they built onto gains, but marginally higher. So Brent futures now trading closer to the $85 a barrel mark, and WTI futures closer to the $80.7 a barrel mark. Now, when you talk about Indian markets, while we were closed yesterday, a last hour rally on Monday actually took Indian markets much higher. And when you're talking about the key constituents to keep an eye out for today, given the fact that there are so many updates that have come in terms of quarterly updates from banks, the banking index, the Nifty Bank index would be key to watch out for. Also key to watch would be the RBI MPC meet outcome that is also anticipated. And when you're talking about Asian markets, slightly mixed cues, quite a few markets closed today. SGX Nifty on an adjusted basis is indicating a slightly gap up opening as far as our own markets are concerned.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Vivek. So that's the market setup for today. Slightly a green start for our own markets. Let's talk about individual stocks now. Surbhi is joining us with that list. Hey, Surbhi.
Hi, good morning. We will be watching out for a whole host of stocks that came up with their Q4 business updates. Let's start with HDFC Bank first, where the deposits were up 21% on a year-on-year basis and up 9% sequentially. The advances were up 17% on a year-on-year basis. Next is Bajaj Finance, where the new loans were up 21% and the customer base was up 20%. Federal Bank, they reported the best business momentum in the last 14 to 17 quarters. The deposits were up 17%. M&M Finance, the business assets were up 27% on a year-on-year basis. Other banks that had come up with their Q4 business updates were IndusInd Bank, Suryodaya Small Finance Bank, South Indian Bank, Bandhan Bank and AU Small Finance Bank. Marico also released their business update where they said the India business saw some volume growth on a year-on-year basis. The international business growth was strong with mid-teen currency growth, and overall consolidated revenue grew in low single digits. Vedanta released their Q4 update. Their aluminium production was flattish, up 0.3%, and the mined metal production was up 2% on a year-on-year basis. And lastly, Cyient will also be in focus as they rejig their top leadership positions. They appointed Krishna Bodanappu as Executive Vice Chairman and Managing Director, who was earlier the MD and CEO. They also appointed Karthikeyan Natarajan as Executive Director and CEO, who was earlier the Executive Director and COO. And they also appointed Prabhakar Atla as the CFO.
Okay, Surbhi, thank you so much for joining us with that list. Let me go across to Nigel finally, joining in with all the cues from the F&O space. Hey, Nigel.
Well, morning. If you look at the SGX Nifty and compared with the Nifty futures, we're bracing for a bit of a green start in trade today. On Monday's trading session, clearly there was a short covering bounce that played out both on the Nifty as well as on the Nifty Bank, because both of them ended higher and the open interest, in fact, was lower. What did the FIs do? Well, they added the shorts yet again. They added close to around 8,000 short contracts in the ratio of close to around 4 shorts for every 1 long position out. So they continue to remain net short on this index. They're buying index options as well. So they bought close to around 43,000 contracts, both on the call as well as on the put side. But what's telling you there is going to be a fight at higher levels is the way they wrote calls yet again. So more than 20,000 calls were written in Monday's trading session. Focusing on a couple of strikes, well, for the markets as a whole, there was some writing at around 17,400 put. Premium over there is close to around 70 rupees odd. Even the 17,350 put with the premiums roughly around 50 rupees. So you deduct 50 rupees from around then 17,350, and 17,300 becomes a crucial support level. But since we're seeing writing at around 17,500 odd, that's why at higher levels you're likely to see supply. So the 20 and the 50 DMA, well, they'll become crucial resistance zones, while on the downside, you want 17,300 to hold out, get done with the RBI policy, and then move on. But as I said earlier, for starters, SGX Nifty suggesting a bit of a green start. Back to you.
Okay, it is. Thanks, Nigel. So